He night that changed everything at Baton Rouge. The lights of the family worship center glimmered brighter than usual that Tuesday night. There was something in the air, a strange, unspoken electricity. Ushers whispered among themselves, musicians tuned their instruments quietly, and even the regulars sitting in the front pews exchanged puzzled looks. Everyone could sense it, something was different. For months, tension had wrapped itself around Jimmy Swaggart Ministries like a shadow. Since Brother Jimmy's passing, the entire congregation had lived in an uneasy silence, unsure of what would happen next. But that night, Frances Swaggart, the woman who had held the ministry together for decades, walked on stage with a radiant smile no one expected to see. She's smiling again. As Frances took her seat near the pulpit, cameras zoomed in. Her eyes sparkled. Her posture was upright, confident, and strangely, relieved. Online viewers watching the Sun Life Broadcasting Network immediately noticed it. Comments began flooding in within seconds. Why does Sister Frances look so happy tonight? Did something just happen behind the scenes? She's glowing, like she knows something we don't. Even musicians like Joseph Larson and Brian Haney seemed unsure how to respond. They shared polite smiles, but their eyes darted toward Frances as if waiting for a cue, a hint of what had just changed. Then Frances did something no one expected. She laughed. It was soft at first, just a gentle chuckle when the choir began their opening number. But to those who had seen her in recent weeks, it was shocking. This was the same woman who had walked through the ministry halls with tears in her eyes, holding on to her late husband's memory with visible sorrow. But tonight, that sorrow seemed to lift, and in its place was something almost victorious. The congregation could feel it. The audience leaned forward. Phones came out. Cameras clicked. Whispers spread through the crowd like wildfire. Did Donnie finally make his decision? Maybe Frances got word from the board. Could this be the announcement we've all been waiting for? Because everyone knew, a major ministry decision was hanging in the balance. Rumors had been swirling for weeks that a private board meeting had taken place, one where the future of Sun Life Broadcasting Network and the leadership succession was discussed. Would Gabriel Swaggart take over officially? Would Donnie assume the pulpit permanently? Or would Frances, the matriarch herself, hold control behind the scenes? No one had answers. But Frances's expression said enough, at least that's what people thought. A camera catches the moment. During the choir's second song, the live stream caught Frances whispering to someone just off camera, believed to be her longtime friend and administrative assistant. The microphone didn't pick it up clearly, but viewers later enhanced the clip online. Her words appeared to be, "It's done." He finally agreed. That one sentence, barely audible, sent social media into chaos. Who was he? What had he agreed to? And what exactly was done? Within hours, a Frances Swaggart and #Tuesday Night Shock were trending across Twitter, Facebook, and even TikTok. Clips of her smiling face looped with dramatic captions. The Queen of Baton Rouge has spoken. A silent decision. A mysterious smile. Behind closed doors at the ministry. Insiders whispered that earlier that day, there had been a private family meeting at the Swaggart estate. Donnie, Gabriel, Jill, and Frances were all reportedly present. According to one source, the atmosphere was tense but decisive. For months, Donnie had resisted taking full administrative control of the ministry, insisting that his mother should remain at the head of the board. Gabriel, meanwhile, had been quietly increasing his influence through the generation of the Cross program and his growing online following. But something shifted that day. Frances's mysterious happiness, that unshakable calm, made everyone believe she had finally won the long-brewing power struggle. The baton has been passed. But to whom? After the service ended, Frances greeted a few church members before leaving quietly through the side exit, escorted by security. She didn't take questions, didn't give interviews, and didn't mention the rumors. But what people did notice was her body language, confident, unburdened, almost glowing. An elderly member who has attended Family Worship Center for over 40 years told local reporters, Sister Frances looked like a woman who had finally laid something to rest. Whatever battle she was fighting, it's over now. That single testimony made its way across dozens of church forums and fan pages. Theories exploded. She and Donnie have reached an agreement about the ministry's future. Frances finally forgave someone from the past. A financial deal or legal decision was finalized. No one could say for sure, but what they all agreed on was this. Tuesday night felt different. The storm before the calm. Just 2 weeks earlier, Frances had been seen in tears during a live telecast of Francis and Friends. The episode, titled Faith Through Uncertain Times, took an emotional turn when a caller asked, "Who will lead the ministry now that Brother Swaggart is gone?" Frances froze for a moment before answering, her voice trembling. "The Lord knows who he has chosen. We're simply waiting on his perfect timing." That clip had broken hearts across the Christian community. People prayed for her strength, for her peace, for clarity. But now, just days later, she appeared radiant, transformed. It was as if she had gone through a personal resurrection of her own, a voice from the inside. Late that night, after the Tuesday service ended, an anonymous insider, reportedly a former studio technician at Sun Life, reached out to a small Baton Rouge blog. The message read, "I don't know how much I should say, but something big just happened. Brooke Frances is at peace because she finally knows what's next. Donnie's role has been decided, and Gabriel's not happy about it. But Frances? She's content because it's exactly what she wanted all along." That post exploded overnight. Brooke fans flooded the comments demanding answers. Did Donnie finally agree to step aside? Or did Frances give Gabriel the green light? What is really going on at JSM? The speculation only grew stronger as the ministry remained completely silent the following morning. No official statement, no press release, just silence, and Frances's lingering smile in everyone's mind. The prophecy people didn't see coming. Longtime followers of Jimmy Swaggart Ministries couldn't help but connect Frances's smile to an old prophecy made decades ago. In a 1989 broadcast, during one of Jimmy Swaggart's emotional sermons, he had once said, "There will come a time when the torch will seem to flicker, but God will raise up strength from within this family, and the ministry will not die." For years, people believed that prophecy referred to Donnie Swaggart, Jimmy's fiery preacher son. But now, many are convinced it's actually Frances who fulfilled those words, not as a preacher, but as the protector of the ministry's soul. She saved the ministry once before. Those who followed Frances since the early years remember the scandals, the betrayals, the near collapse of everything she and Jimmy built. When the ministry fell into controversy in the late 80s, it was Frances who kept the lights on, negotiating with broadcasters, managing finances, calming sponsors. Many within the inner circle say she was the true force behind Jimmy's comeback. So seeing her happy again wasn't just emotional, it was prophetic. It was like history repeating itself. But this time, the fight wasn't for Jimmy's reputation, it was for the ministry's future. Tuesday night wasn't random. By Thursday, several Christian media outlets began reporting that a new administrative order had been signed inside Jimmy Swaggart Ministries, one that would streamline leadership and secure the future of Sun Life Broadcasting Network. While no names were officially confirmed, insiders hinted that Frances Swaggart was the primary signatory. That would mean one thing: she had made a final decision, and it was legally binding. The question wasn't whether she made the decision anymore. The question was who benefits from it. Gabriel's reaction raises eyebrows. The following day, on Generation of the Cross, Gabriel Swaggart appeared unusually subdued. He opened the broadcast with a short prayer and avoided any mention of Tuesday night's event. But fans noticed the tone. He looked distracted. His voice trembled slightly during the sermon. On social media, fans pointed out the contrast. Gabriel looked tense. Frances looked peaceful. Something definitely happened. By evening, speculation reached fever pitch. People began to piece together the timeline. Tuesday afternoon, private family meeting at Swaggart Estate. Tuesday night, Frances appears happy, says it's done. Wednesday, no official statement from JSM. Thursday, administrative order rumored to be signed. Friday, Gabriel appears visibly shaken during his program. It all added up to one thing. A decision had been made that changed everything. Frances's private faith moment. A few days later, a photograph surfaced online showing Frances inside her private prayer room, a space that very few have ever seen. The photo, reportedly taken by a close family friend, showed her kneeling beside an open Bible, tears in her eyes, a smile on her face. The caption read, "Peace after obedience." That simple phrase set the internet ablaze again. Obedience to what? Fans asked. What did she finally surrender to? Some believed she was referring to obeying God's command to let go of control. Others thought it symbolized a personal promise she made to Jimmy years ago. But one thing was clear. Frances Swaggart had stepped into a new chapter of her life, and whether people understood it or not, Tuesday night was the turning point. Her Bible rested under her arm, and a thin blue folder lay in her hand, the same folder she'd been seen carrying the previous Sunday. Donnie was already there, pacing. Gabriel sat opposite him, flipping through a notepad but not writing anything. Two senior board members sat quietly at the far end, waiting for Frances to speak. She didn't sit immediately. She looked at each of them, then said calmly, "I've prayed, I've wept, and I've heard from the Lord. It's time to settle this." The room fell silent. Frances opened the blue folder and placed it in front of them. Inside was a document bearing the ministry seal. She looked at Donnie first. "You've carried your father's fire, son, but you've also carried his battles. That's not your calling." Then she turned to Gabriel. "And your grandfather's name has opened doors for you, but what comes next must be built on your own anointing, not his shadow." She paused, her voice trembling yet firm. "The ministry will not be led by inheritance, but by obedience." Those words hit the room like thunder. The hidden decision. Inside the blue folder was a leadership restructuring document. According to insiders, it officially placed the executive oversight of Sun